Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the Routledge History of Literature in English part 50. So let's dive in the world of literature. Robert Browning, known for his dramatic monologue. He wrote poems such as Porphyria's Lover in 1836. He already shows how the first person speaker can tell a surprisingly vivid story of love and violence. And there are few lines given from the poem. You can see it in the book. And please don't skip the lines because in UGC NET questions might be asked that these lines are from which poem. Then he has also written the poem My Last Duchess in 1842. The lines of this poem is also given and two famous lines are given. I am going to read it. I gave commands, then all smiles stopped altogether. These two poems were contained in dramatic lyrics published in 1842. His later volumes often have similar titles from dramatic romances and lyrics in 1845 to Dramatis Personae in 1864 and two series of dramatic idylls written in 1879 and 1880. Some of Browning's best characters are contained in Men and Women in 1855, where the monologues are spoken by such characters as the painters Fra Lippo and Andrea del Sarto, and by Bishop Blougram, who apologizes for his life. We also find in Browning's monologues many contrasts in language and style with the poetry of Tennyson. An example is provided by the following lines from Browning's The Bishop orders his tomb at St. Praxed's Church. Shrewd was that snatch from out the corner south. He grazed his cairn with God curse the same. Then his poem, Child Roland to the Dark Tower Came, published in Men and Women in 1855, is the most intense and mysterious of Browning's mid century poems. Its title and last line uses a line from one of the darkest moments in Shakespeare's King Lear in Act 3, Scene 4. He also wrote Pauline, published anonymously in 1833, and Paracelsus in 1835 to Azzolando, published coincidentally on the day of his death in 1889. The Ring and the Book around 1869 to 1870 was his greatest single success. It employs the dramatic monologue, a multi-viewpoint historical reconstruction in blank verse, telling the story of a 17th century Italian murderer, explaining relative truth, imagination, character, and setting in a novel in verse quite unlikely any other. He met Elizabeth Barrett Browning in 1845 and eloped with her the following year to Italy, where they lived until her death in 1861. She was highly regarded as a poet on the strength of poems in 1844 and in her lifetime was more famous than her husband. She is now best remembered for her novel in verse Aurora Leigh in 1857, the life story of a woman writer, which anticipates Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own in its strongly feminine affirmation of an independent viewpoint. The poem is a female prelude following Wordsworth, a portrait of the artist as a young woman committed to an art which embraces social and political realities. Few lines are given from the poem Aurora Leigh, and the lines are the works of women are symbolical. We so prick our fingers, dull our sight. Producing what? A pair of slippers, sir, to put on when you are weary, or a stool to stumble over and vex you. Curse that stool, or else at best a cushion where you lean and sleep and dream of something we are not, but would be for your sake. Alas, alas. This hurts most. This, that, after all, we are paid. The worth of our works, perhaps. The cause of Italian nationalism enabled her to explore many contemporary social and moral issues. Her sonnets from the Portuguese in 1850 are presented as a translation from Portuguese but in fact record the stages of her love for Robert Browning. The following lines from one of the 44 Portuguese sonnets show Elizabeth Barrett Browning to be, as Virginia Woolf described her, the true daughter of her age. Few lines are given from the poem Sonnet 43, How Do I Love Thee? Let Me Count the Ways. And the lines are, I love thee freely as men strive for rights. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. If you have any doubts or query, you can ask me in the comment section below, or you can even message me in the social media IDs that are given below in the description box. And do share the video to all those who wants to be the part of this literary journey. So that's all for today's video. Thank you and signing out.